Hey, what's up guys? Google has brought out the big guns, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, as Android's competition to the iPhone. But they haven't been met with the same enthusiasm as last year. Should you be concerned about the Pixel 2 XL? And how does the Pixel 2 hold up? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and this is our Google Pixel 2 and 2 XL review. The Pixels are back, and both are bringing a familiar metal build. The just black matte finish has a bit of a rough texture that feels a bit plasticky in the hand. Just like last year, the rear camera is accented by a glass window, but on the front, the new XL has had a makeover bezel-wise that were missing on the Pixel 2. Another difference is that the Pixel 2 XL's display has a more pronounced tapered front glass. Both the Pixel 2 and the 2 XL are missing a headphone jack this year. You'll have to use a bundled USB Type-C adapter to plug in. To make up for it, it's pretty much the loudest and cleanest output from a smartphone we've seen. And they do have stereo speakers. They're not the loudest that we've heard, but the sound is clear and accurate with almost no distortion, even at max volume. The Pixels have a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner on the back, right in the center where it's easy to reach. It's fast and always on. Speaking of always on, there's an always on display on both phones, handy if you want to see the time or notifications at a glance. There's a notification LED too, but you have to activate it in settings. Storage isn't expandable on the Pixel 2 or the Pixel 2 XL, but you can opt for either 64 or 128 gigs of internal storage. And both phones have IP67 dust and water resistance, a welcome upgrade from last year's IP53. Screen-wise, the Pixel 2 XL has a 6-inch display with a 1440 by 2880 resolution. The Pixel 2 has a 5-inch that is 1080 by 1920. Both screens use OLED technology, but they are quite different. Both have good brightness, deep blacks, and are easily usable outdoors in the sun, but this is where the similarities end. The 2 XL has a tall 18:9 aspect ratio that has been pretty popular this year, while the 2 goes for the standard 16:9. We have to note that the 2 XL's display will give you black bars on the side of YouTube videos, but you can pinch to crop them. Now, there has been some talk of issues with the Pixel 2 XL's screen. First, color shifting when tilting at an angle is a bit more than most phones. And there has been some talk of screen burn-in at the navigation buttons at the bottom. The blue color shifting can be annoying, but a lot of people don't really notice it. And as for screen burn-in, we didn't see any on our own review unit. But if it does happen to you, you should still be covered under Google's official warranty. The final issue users complained about on the Pixel 2 XL, the dull, lifeless colors, have already been fixed with a recent software update and they're now nice and punchy. Google's Pixels come with Android 8 Oreo out of the box. They're the phones to go to for a light, snappy, and totally smooth stock Android experience. There's no traditional app drawer, just swipe up to see your apps. There are a few unique features. Live wallpapers subtly change and move in the background, making the interface feel alive. From the notification shade, you can perform certain actions or reply directly, without switching apps. One neat feature is that the phone can detect music that is playing and automatically tell you the title and artist on the always-on display. This even works offline. Also, there is Active Edge squeeze detection. Squeezing the phone will summon the Google Assistant. Too bad you can't assign it to another feature that you choose. Both the Google Pixel 2 and 2 XL run on a Snapdragon 835 chipset with 4 gigs of RAM. Benchmark performance is comparable to other devices with an 835, but not outstanding, more like in the middle of the pack. They still do well with graphic-intensive gaming though, and don't tend to heat up as much as last year's Pixels during heavy use. They might not be the absolute best in benchmarks, but they still do a great job, and in day-to-day tasks, everything is smooth and lag-free. Battery life could impact your decision if you're comparing the Pixel 2 to the 2 XL. The Pixel 2 has a 2700 mAh battery, while the 2 XL's is 20% larger at 3520 mAh. The Pixel 2 did a decent job in our proprietary battery tests, scoring 75 hours, while the 2 XL did better, scoring 88 hours overall. Fast charging actually isn't too fast on the 2 XL. In our 30-minute tests, it only went from 0 to 35%. The charging rate is the same for the smaller phones, so its battery went up to 43% in the same amount of time. There is no wireless charging, which everyone might start looking for now that Apple has brought it to the iPhone. On to the single 12.2 megapixel camera. It's the same on both phones. It's seen some improvements since last year. The aperture is now a brighter f1.8 instead of f2.0, and now there is OIS. In addition, there is now dual pixel autofocus, just like on the Galaxy S8. We're gonna spoil it and say that the camera is awesome on both the Pixel 2 and 2 XL, but neither one offers manual controls for the camera's shutter speed or ISO, which might be a drawback for some photographers. That said, daylight photos taken with the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL are excellent. There's great exposure, excellent dynamic range, and very natural rendering of fine details and foliage. Colors are pleasant and vivid, but there is a little bit of visible noise if you zoom in. In low light, the pixels are able to get decent exposure for your subject, and they can extract good detail from both the brightly lit areas and the shadows. Colors and textures are well preserved too. Again though, there is some noise in the pictures. Even though there's no dual camera, the Pixel 2 and 2 XL can produce a defocused background behind your subject in portrait mode. They do this using a combination of dual pixel phase detection and machine learning. It actually works well, with mostly accurate subject isolation. One thing missing though is that you can't preview the effect in the viewfinder, you just have to hope that it comes out okay. The front-facing camera is among the best we've ever used. Skin tones are spot on, faces are well exposed, and details behind the subject actually show up really well. If you prefer these details blurred out, no worries, there's a selfie portrait mode too, and it works great. Video performance is also quite good, and so is the stabilization. 4K videos are well exposed and detailed without looking overprocessed, and have spot-on colors and white balance. The mono audio recording isn't so hot though. In 1080p, it's the same story. Video quality is easily on par with, if not better than, any of the competition. There's a lot to consider when comparing the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. Both give you stereo speakers and what could be the smoothest Android experience out there. The camera is among the best too, but this year, Google doesn't have a clear-cut advantage over competitors like Samsung, Apple, and even the Pixel makers themselves, HTC and LG. On top of this, Pixels are quite hard to get. They're expensive, and they're not available in all markets. But if you can find one, we think the Pixel 2 XL is the better buy from the two, if the color shifting display doesn't bother you. It's got a bigger battery and a bigger screen, and a more modern slim bezel design. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this video, and you can always stop by gsmarena.com for our full test findings. See ya.